Our bodies are wired to heal. They are wired to reach the state of homeostasis, and yet so many of us are struggling to recover, be it from mental or physical health conditions. Why is that? Because while we seek out and even find correct medical treatments, what we fail to do is to create the healing environment. Hi guys, I'm Asma and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are looking to reconnect with your true self and you want to create a life that is aligned with that, please press the subscribe button and stay tuned. So what do I mean by healing environment? Let's say you get a cut on your hand. First you clean the wound and then you put the bandage on. What you basically did now is you created a healing environment so your body can start doing the healing work. I know these days we are used to one pill solution for everything, but healing and recovering from complex health issues is much more complicated than what one pill can do. And especially Western medicine tends to separate the mind and body and the impact of our social environment. But all of these affect each other and play a key role in your overall well-being, be it your physical or mental health. And if other is suffering, you will see the ramifications in the other part. And I know it's so easy to start focusing on certain symptoms or whatever illness you are facing, but it's so important to look your well-being and health as a whole. I got a chronic illness when I was only 16 years old, and ever since then I spent a decade running from one hospital to another and trying out different treatments. A few years ago, I ran into this blog post of a woman who had same illness as me. She was in her 40s and she had had the illness for much longer, and her symptoms were also much more severe. And she was talking about her healing journey in that blog post, so I decided to message her, and she was kind enough to tell me more details. And she was telling me it took her overall only 8 months to fully recover, and she was saying that the treatment was very small part of it. It was more also about the healing work she was doing with herself and how she was reconnecting with herself. At that time I didn't really understand that. I was like, yeah, just tell me the details of the treatment and how I can approach the doctor. But over the years I started to realize that the more I started to reconnect with myself, the more my symptoms started to disappear. And I don't think it was a coincidence. So first step to creating the healing environment is reconnecting with your true self. And when you are disconnected from yourself, you are also on survival mode. And on survival mode, it's all about survival. You're not resting. And on survival mode, healing is not your priority. When you are dismissing yourself, when you are suppressing your emotions, when you are suppressing certain aspects of you, it all takes energy. And if you give your energy to those things, there is no energy left for healing. And I know at first people-pleasing and physical pain might sound very two unrelated things. But when enough factors come up in the way you live with yourself, it will impact your physical well-being. Remember, we talked about the wound on the hand. Imagine you put this hand in a jar full of toxic liquid, and then you expect to heal. Not only will you not heal, but actually that small injury can very well become fatal. So just like we want to keep the wound clean, it's so important to cleanse your inner environment so you can have space for healing. Number 2, it is also equally important to create a life that is aligned with your true self. Because if you keep putting yourself into situations and relationships where you feel depleted and unvalued and unseen, it will add extra layer of stress. And if you are on this chronic stress mode, when will your body heal? Number 3, and I cannot emphasize this one enough, it's self-compassion. Nowadays, we are so used to achieving and performing through life. And I've noticed in myself that if you are overachiever and if you are a perfectionist, it doesn't usually affect just one area of life, but it tends to affect all of the areas of life. And healing was no different. I was trying to achieve healing. I was trying to perfect healing. I would go on YouTube and find people's healing stories, and I would find these ideal morning routines, and I will try to copy paste them into my life and implement them. And surprise, surprise, when I would fail, I would be so hard on myself, literally cruel to myself, that why can't I do it if the other person can do it? But what I failed to understand at that point, that each of our needs are different, and we are at different stages in our healing journey, in our lives, and we are different personalities and we need different things. So you just copy pasting someone's life to yours it's not connecting with yourself. When we are hurting, we often seek love, care, and understanding from people outside us, be it our friends or family, as we should. But what about ourselves? Do we give ourselves the love, care, and understanding that we are so in desperate need of? Remember one thing: if your loved one is mean to you, which is horrible, but if they are mean to you, they can be mean to you 1 hour a day, or 10 hours a day, or 12 hours a day. But you are with yourself 24/7. If you are constantly cruel to yourself and you are not treating yourself well, that's bad. And remember, you're already hurting. You might be in pain and experiencing lots of hardships right now. On top of that, you have to deal with your own cruelty to yourself. And number 4, we have lots of expectations when it comes to healing process, what we tend to make of our own timelines and what pace it should be going and how we are supposed to get rid of the symptoms one by one. But it doesn't go like that. Right now, it's so important to give yourself the space. You don't want to add more restrictions and put yourself in a box. And you can't predetermine how long you are allowed to hurt. You are going to hurt as long as it takes to be heard. So it's really important to ditch all the supposed tos. And last but not least, number 5. And this one might sound a bit bizarre, but not obsessing over your symptoms or healing. Why is that? Because you are creating this separation. Here is the illness that I need to quickly get rid of, and here is the healing that I'm running towards. I need to achieve quickly. They are not out there. They're all happening in here. So instead of obsessing with these two, I would ask you to become curious about your body, what's happening in your body and what helps you, what are your needs, what makes it worse. It's all happening in you. Get to really know yourself, what feels good, what doesn't. How is your body trying to communicate with you? I spent many years obsessing over healing, and I would look at everything through the lens of healing. Would this help me? Would this not help me? Whatever action I took, whatever things I did, and it got very tiring, to be honest. And slowly I started to realize that healing is not something to be chased after. Rather, it's just a byproduct of when we start stripping off these layers of survival mechanisms that we have gathered over the years to protect ourselves. And whether it will happen, when it will happen, I don't know. I can't give the promises. I'm still in the process myself. But I can say one thing for sure. Those things, they are going to only improve your well-being.